What if I told you your suffering isn't caused by what happened to you, but by your resistance to it? I know it's not easy to hear. When life breaks your heart, when betrayal cuts deep, when dreams fall apart, it feels almost cruel to suggest that we could be the ones keeping the wound alive. But there's a deeper truth, a truth most people will spend their whole lives running from. Suffering isn't born from life's tragedies. It's born from the war we fight inside ourselves. The battle against reality, the refusal to let go, the desperate clinging to what should have been. And as long as we resist reality, we stay trapped, not by the pain itself, but by our refusal to accept what already is. Carl Jung said it best: what you resist persists. And this isn't just a poetic idea. It's the core of emotional freedom. Because once you understand it, not just with your mind, but with your soul, everything changes. You stop bleeding over the same wounds. You stop replaying the same heartbreak. You stop handing your power away to the past. Today, we're going to walk through this together. Slowly, deeply, honestly. No sugarcoating, no easy fixes, just the truth, spoken from one human heart to another, because you deserve to be free. Not someday, not when life is perfect, but now, exactly as you are. So take a breath, feel yourself here, and let's begin. Chapter 1: The Hidden Cause of Suffering. Most people believe their pain is caused by what happened to them: the betrayal, the loss, the rejection, the failure. They replay the event in their minds over and over, as if somehow, by dissecting it enough times, they could undo it, as if suffering a little longer might rewrite history. But here's the brutal, liberating truth. Pain is inevitable. Suffering is optional. The heartbreak was real. The betrayal hurt. The failure stung. But the endless suffering that follows, that comes from something else entirely. It comes from the voice in your mind that says, this shouldn't have happened. It's unfair. I can't accept this. That inner resistance, the refusal to accept reality as it is what turns natural pain into lifelong suffering. Think about it. A breakup might cause days or weeks of sadness, but it's the endless replaying of what was lost, the clinging to what could have been, that drags the pain out for months, even years. The moment you declare war on reality, you lose. Every time. Because reality always wins. You can rage against it, bargain with it, deny it. But in the end, what happened has already happened. The only real choice you have is whether you'll keep reopening the wound with your mind, or begin the quiet, courageous work of healing. This is the first doorway to freedom, and the hardest to walk through. To realize that suffering is not something being done to you. It's something being kept alive inside of you, often without you even realizing it. It's a hard pill to swallow. And yet, hidden inside this truth is your power. Because if you are the one keeping the suffering alive, then you are also the one who can finally set yourself free. And that's where we begin, with a choice that almost no one talks about. The choice to stop fighting life and start flowing with it. Because what you resist persists, but what you accept transforms. And in the next chapter, we'll explore the secret medicine that makes this transformation possible. A truth so simple, yet so radical, it can change the way you live forever. Chapter 2: Radical Acceptance, the Secret Medicine. If resistance is the root of suffering, then acceptance is the beginning of liberation. But not the kind of acceptance most people think about. Not passive resignation. Not pretending you're okay when you're not. Not forcing a smile over a broken heart. I'm talking about something deeper. Something that can crack your entire world open in the best way possible. Radical acceptance. It's the quiet, trembling courage to say, this is what happened. This is where I am. And even though I don't like it, I'm willing to stop fighting it. Radical acceptance isn't about approving of pain. It's about stopping the war with it. It's standing in the ruins of what you thought your life would be, and choosing, somehow, impossibly, to lay down your weapons, to stop arguing with reality, to stop replaying the what ifs, to stop demanding that life be something other than what it is. Because here's the truth. You can't heal what you're still fighting. You can't move forward while you're clinging backward. Imagine for a moment, you're standing in the ocean. A powerful wave hits you. If you resist it, stiffen up, fight against the force, the wave will slam you into the sand, leave you bruised, gasping, broken. But if you allow yourself to move with it, to surrender to the pull, to trust that you can float even when everything feels overwhelming, the wave passes, the force softens, and you find yourself still standing. That's radical acceptance. It's not weakness. It's not defeat. It's strength of the rarest kind. It's choosing to stop spending your precious energy on a battle you cannot win, and instead reclaiming that energy for what you can control. Your healing, your response, your future. I'm not telling you it's easy. There are days when your mind will scream, but it shouldn't be this way. There will be moments when every cell in your body wants to resist, deny, rewind time. But every time you choose, even for a breath, even for a moment, to release the fight, you create space. Space for grief to move. Space for anger to breathe. Space for the wound to finally begin to close. Because what heals you is not pretending the pain isn't real. It's honoring it, witnessing it, letting it pass through you, instead of holding it hostage. Radical acceptance sounds simple. It's anything but. It's one of the hardest things a human being can do. And yet, it's the only thing that sets you free. Pain may be inevitable. Loss may be inevitable. Change, betrayal, disappointment, all inevitable. But suffering is a choice made in every moment you resist what is. And freedom begins the moment you whisper to life, I may not like this, but I accept it. And now, I choose to heal. In the next chapter, we're going to dive even deeper. Because even if you learn to accept the surface level pain, there are hidden forces inside you still pulling the strings. We're going to uncover the real reason why the same emotional wounds keep repeating, no matter how hard you try to move on. And once you see it, you'll never be the same. Chapter 3. The Trap of the Unconscious Mind. You might think that once you accept reality, the suffering should fade. That peace should come easily after surrender. But for so many of us, even after the conscious mind lets go, the suffering continues. And if you've ever wondered why, if you've ever felt like no matter how hard you try to move forward, you somehow end up back in the same emotional pain, this is where the real reason reveals itself. It's not just what you're resisting. It's what's hidden deep inside you, still running the show. Carl Jung said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. Fate. How many times have you whispered to yourself, maybe I'm just unlucky, maybe I'm cursed, maybe happiness just wasn't meant for me? But what if it wasn't fate at all? What if the real trap is the invisible programming inside you? You see, from the moment you were born, you began absorbing the emotional blueprint of the world around you. If love came with conditions, if safety was unpredictable, if abandonment, criticism, or chaos were part of your early life, then without even knowing it, you internalized a message. This is what life feels like. This is what love feels like. This is who I am. Not because you chose it, but because your nervous system needed a map to survive. And the map it created was based on familiarity, not happiness. The unconscious mind doesn't seek what's best for you. It seeks what's familiar. Even if what's familiar hurts. Even if it keeps wounding you. That's why people who grew up around abandonment often fear being left, but are drawn, again and again, to people who can't stay. That's why someone who felt invisible as a child might spend their adult life chasing validation. yet feel hollow even when they get it. It's not a conscious choice. It's an unconscious repetition, a painful echo of old emotional patterns, still playing out in the present. And until you see it, you can't change it. You'll keep calling it bad luck. You'll keep saying, "Why does this always happen to me?" But it's not life punishing you. It's your own unhealed programming, pulling the strings behind the curtain. And the hardest part, you can't think your way out of it. You can't just tell yourself, "I know better now," and expect it to vanish. Because the unconscious mind doesn't speak in logic. It speaks in emotions. It speaks in patterns. It speaks in the quiet, invisible agreements you made with pain when you were too young to even realize it. I will accept crumbs, because at least crumbs are familiar. I will expect betrayal, because love never really felt safe anyway. I will sabotage my own joy, because deep down, I don't believe I deserve it. None of this is your fault, but it is your responsibility to heal it, once you become aware, because the only thing worse than suffering is repeating it without knowing why. And here's the most powerful truth. The moment you bring the unconscious to light, you are no longer its prisoner. You become its master. You can choose differently. You can rewrite the map. You can create a new emotional reality, one not based on the wounds of the past, but on the possibilities of the future. But first, you have to be willing to look within, to see not just the pain that was caused by others, but the pain you've unknowingly carried, and sometimes even recreated, yourself. This is the beginning of true inner freedom, not the absence of pain, but the end of unconscious suffering. In the next chapter, we're going to uncover another silent enemy that keeps your pain alive. An enemy hidden not in your past, but in the way you think about yourself. We're about to face the part of you that clings to suffering, not because it loves the pain, but because it has built its very identity around it. It's time to meet the ego. And once you understand what it's been doing behind the scenes, you'll see why real healing requires letting go of far more than just the past. It requires letting go of who you think you are. Chapter 4. The ego's role in perpetual suffering. If the unconscious mind keeps you trapped without your awareness, the ego keeps you trapped on purpose. Not because it wants to hurt you, but because it believes, in its own twisted way, that it's protecting you. The ego is the part of you that says, "I am what happened to me. I am my wounds. I am my failures, my betrayals, my heartbreaks." It takes the pain of your past, wraps it around your identity like armor, and whispers, "This is who you are now. This is what keeps you safe." At first, it feels comforting. It feels righteous. It feels powerful to hold on to the story of how you were wronged, how you were abandoned, how life didn't treat you fairly. But over time, the armor turns into a cage, and what once felt like protection becomes your prison. Because here's the brutal truth. The ego feeds off your suffering. Every time you replay the betrayal, every time you tell the story of how others hurt you, every time you sink into resentment, blame, or self-pity, the ego gets stronger. It tells you that your pain is proof you were right, that clinging to anger is how you stay powerful, that holding on to the past keeps you safe from being hurt again. But none of that is true. The ego doesn't want you to heal, because if you healed, if you truly let go, the ego would have nothing left to hold on to. It would lose its identity, and so it fights. It sabotages your growth. It convinces you that forgiveness is weakness. It tells you that acceptance is defeat. It whispers that moving on would mean admitting that the pain didn't matter. But it mattered. Of course it mattered. Healing doesn't erase the pain. Healing honors it, and then releases it. The ego can't understand that. It only knows how to grip tighter. And here's the most dangerous trick of all. The ego convinces you that you are your suffering, that without your wounds, you would be nothing, that without your story of heartbreak, betrayal, abandonment, you would have no story at all. It's not just that the ego clings to pain. It needs pain to survive. That's why when you try to change, when you start to heal, the ego often panics. It floods you with doubts. It stays up old memories. It triggers fear, shame, guilt, Anything to pull you back into familiar suffering. Because to the ego, familiar pain feels safer than unknown freedom. That's why it's so hard to let go. Not because you're weak, but because a part of you is terrified of who you might become without the old wounds to define you. And yet, this is exactly where true transformation begins. You are not your ego. You are not your pain. You are not the story your mind keeps telling you. You are the awareness behind it all. The quiet presence that sees the suffering and chooses differently. Because when you stop identifying with your wounds, you stop needing to protect them. You stop feeding them. You stop making them the center of your existence. And in that moment, the ego begins to crumble. Not because you fought it, but because you no longer needed it. Healing isn't a battle. It's a surrender. A surrender to the truth of who you've always been, underneath all the fey. Not a victim. Not a prisoner. Not the broken one. But something infinitely more powerful. Infinitely more whole. In the next chapter, we're going to step even deeper into this journey. Because now that you see how resistance, unconscious patterns, and the ego trap you, you're ready for the next step. Facing the darkness you've spent a lifetime avoiding, and learning how to walk through it without fear. Because the only way out is through. And on the other side of that darkness is a light you've been carrying all along. Chapter 5, Facing the Darkness. There comes a moment on every healing journey when the distractions fall away, the noise quiets, and you are left face to face with the one thing you've spent your whole life running from. Your own pain. The raw, aching emptiness. The sadness too deep for words. The anger, the grief, the fear you thought you had buried long ago. It rises. It demands to be seen. And everything inside you wants to turn away, to distract yourself, to numb it, to deny it. Because that's what you were taught, wasn't it? Be strong. Move on. Don't show weakness. But strength was never about pretending you don't feel. Real strength is the courage to feel everything, fully, honestly, without flinching. Carl Jung said, one does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. You cannot heal what you refuse to face, and the darkness inside you. It's not your enemy. It's not there to destroy you. It's the part of you that has been waiting, for years, maybe decades, for you to stop running long enough, to finally hear it. The sadness, the rage, the loneliness, the shame, all of it is part of your story, part of your humanity, and none of it makes you broken. It makes you real. Facing your darkness isn't about fixing yourself. It's about finally offering yourself the compassion you never received. It's about sitting with your wounds, not as problems to solve, but as parts of you that need to be witnessed, held, loved. Think about a child who's crying, terrified, in pain. You don't yell at them to stop. You don't tell them to toughen up. You kneel down. You hold them. You let them cry. You show them that even in their darkest, most frightened moment, they are not alone. This is what you must learn to do for yourself. You are not your darkness. You are the one who holds it with love. When fear rises, sit with it. When grief crashes over you like a wave, let it move through. When anger burns in your chest, feel it fully, without acting from it, but also without shame. Because when you stop resisting these emotions, something miraculous happens. They begin to move. They begin to soften. They begin to pass. It's the resistance that keeps them stuck. The judgment. The denial. But when you allow the darkness to surface without fear, without labeling it, without fighting it, you realize something breathtaking. You are bigger than your pain. You are the ocean, not the wave. The sky, not the passing storm. And no matter how intense the emotion feels, it is temporary. It will rise. It will peak. And it will fall. Always. Every heartbreak you thought would destroy you, you survived. Every moment of despair you thought would last forever, you're still here. Stronger. Deeper. Wiser. Facing the darkness isn't about fixing yourself. It's about remembering the wholeness that was always underneath the pain. Because you were never broken. You were only wounded. And wounds can heal. In the next chapter, we'll move into the most powerful secret of all. How to not just survive your pain, but transform it into a force of awakening. Because if you're willing to walk through your darkness, you'll find that on the other side is a strength you never imagined possible. The strength to turn your pain into power. Chapter 6. Alchemizing pain into power. If you've made it this far, you already know something most people never realize. Pain is not your enemy. It's your teacher, your invitation, your portal to something greater. You were never meant to drown in your suffering. You were meant to rise because of it. This is the ancient secret hidden inside every healing journey. Pain can be alchemized into power, not by avoiding it, not by denying it, but by moving through it, with open eyes and an open heart. Carl Jung often spoke of alchemy, but not the old fantasy of turning lead into gold. He understood the real alchemy, the transformation of human suffering into wisdom, strength, and light. Your pain is the lead. Heavy, dense, burdensome. But inside that lead, hidden deep inside the weight you've been carrying, is gold. Gold forged through heartbreak. Gold shaped by loss, betrayal, grief, disappointment. Gold that can only be uncovered when you stop resisting the process of transformation. Because every time you survive what you thought would break you, you become someone new. Stronger, wiser, more awake. It's not the easy moments that forge you. It's the ones you thought you couldn't survive. The nights you cried alone. The days you doubted yourself. The times when everything fell apart, and you kept going anyway. That's where the gold is made. Pain is the fire. You are the alchemist. But here's the choice you have to make. You can let the pain harden you, make you bitter, closed, armored against the world. Or you can let it soften you, open you, awaken parts of you that could never have been touched without it. You can choose resentment, or you can choose rebirth. You can carry your suffering like a chain, or you can forge it into wings. The difference is not in what happened to you. The difference is in what you choose to become because of it. Think about the people you admire most. The ones who radiate strength, depth, grace. They weren't given easy lives. They didn't avoid hardship. They walked through fire, and chose to let it refine them, not define them. Your suffering is not a sign that you're broken. It's a sign that you're being called into transformation. The dark night of the soul isn't the end of your story. It's the beginning of your becoming. It's the sacred unraveling that strips away everything false. Every illusion, every mask, every lie you were taught about who you are. Until what's left is real, pure, unbreakable. You. But transformation doesn't happen by accident. It happens through choice. The choice to stop asking, why did this happen to me? And start asking, how can this transform me? The choice to stop replaying the story of your wounds and start writing the story of your strength. The choice to look at your pain and say, you do not define me. You refine me. This is what true alchemy looks like. Not bypassing the pain, not pretending it didn't hurt, but using it, fueling your growth with it, until even your scars shine like gold. In the next chapter, we'll walk through the practical steps. How to begin turning your pain into your greatest power, day by day, moment by moment. Because transformation isn't something you wait for. It's something you create. And the life you're capable of living on the other side of your suffering is more extraordinary than you've ever been told. Chapter 7. Practical steps to heal and evolve. You already hold the gold within you. The alchemy has begun. Now, it's time to walk the path. Step by step, breath by breath. Out of the old cycles of pain and into the life you were meant to live. Healing isn't a single moment of revelation. It's a daily choice. 1,000 small decisions to show up for yourself differently than you did before. And it begins with 3 powerful practices. 1. Stop judging your pain. The first step is the simplest, but also the hardest. Stop judging your emotions. When sadness rises, don't label it as weakness. When anger flays, don't shame yourself. When fear whispers, don't push it away. Instead, witness it. Let the emotion exist, without adding a story to it. No, I shouldn't feel this way. No, this means I'm broken. Just presence. This is what's here right now. And that's okay. Because when you stop fighting your emotions, you stop reinforcing them. You let them move, like clouds passing through a vast sky. Your worth isn't determined by how you feel. It's determined by how willing you are to feel, without running away. 2. Return to the body. Pain lives in the body before it ever makes sense in the mind. So when emotions rise, don't get lost in endless thoughts. Come home. Feel your breath. Notice where the tension lives. Your chest. Your throat. Your gut. No need to fix it. No need to analyze. Just be with it. Breathe into it. Let your body know. It's safe to feel this. I'm not abandoning myself anymore. This simple act, breathing into the place that hurts, begins to dissolve the pain at its roots. Because healing doesn't happen in thinking. It happens in being. Free. Rewrite the inner story. You are not the victim of your life. You are the author. And now, it's time to take the pen back. Notice the old stories playing in your mind. I'm always abandoned. I can never trust anyone. Nothing ever works out for me. Don't hate yourself for them. Recognize them for what they are. Old survival scripts. Scripts written by fear, by wounds, by the unconscious mind. And now, with awareness, you get to write new ones. Start simply. I am worthy of safe love. I can trust myself to heal. Every experience is making me wiser and stronger. At first, the old stories will try to pull you back. That's okay. Gently, compassionately, return to the new ones. Again and again. Not because you're trying to force yourself to be positive, but because you're choosing to tell yourself the truth. And the truth is this. You are not broken. You are breaking open. You are not lost. You are finding your way home. 4. Honor the small victories. Healing is not linear. Some days you'll feel powerful, light, free. Other days, you'll feel like you're drowning again. Both are part of the path. Honor every step. Every time you sit with your sadness instead of numbing it. Every time you choose compassion over judgment. Every time you catch an old story and choose not to believe it. These moments are not small. They are everything. Healing doesn't happen all at once. It happens one breath at a time. 5. Trust the process. There will be days when it feels impossible. When the old patterns grip you tighter. When the darkness feels endless. But I promise you this. If you keep showing up for yourself, with gentleness, with patience, with fierce love, something will begin to shift. Not always in ways you can see immediately, but deep inside you. Roots will start to grow. Light will start to seep into places that once felt unreachable. Trust it. Trust yourself. You don't have to know exactly how it will unfold. You just have to stay in the process. Healing isn't about reaching some perfect version of yourself. It's about remembering you were whole all along, and slowly peeling away everything that made you forget. You are not here to live trapped by your wounds. You are here to transcend them, to become someone so rooted in your own truth, so free from old chains. That pain no longer defines you. It shapes you. It sharpens you. But it does not own you. And if you keep choosing healing, one small step, one small breath, one small act of love at a time, you will become something more powerful than you can even imagine. You will become yourself, your real self, unbreakable, unstoppable, free. In the next chapter, we're going to step into the final, most beautiful truth. The realization that everything you've been searching for was never outside you to begin with. It's been inside you, waiting, all along. Chapter 8. The Inner Awakening. Returning to yourself. After all the fighting. After all the falling. After all the aching and breaking and reaching and letting go. There comes a moment. A moment so still, so quiet. You almost miss it. A moment when you realize the thing you were chasing was never out there. It was always inside you. The healing, the peace, the freedom, the love. Not waiting in another person's arms. Not hidden inside some distant future. Not locked away behind some version of you that had it all figured out. It's been here, all along, buried under the rubble of old wounds, sleeping beneath layers of fear and forgetting. Your true self, the one who never needed fixing, the one who was never broken to begin with, the one who knew how to love, how to trust, how to stand whole and unshaken, before the world told you otherwise. The journey wasn't about becoming someone else. It was about coming home. Coming home to the parts of you that you abandoned. Coming home to the voice inside you that whispered, even when you doubted, you are enough. Coming home to the quiet knowing that you are already worthy, already powerful, already free. You didn't lose yourself because you were weak. You lost yourself because you were human. You believed the lies the world taught you. That love had to be earned. That your worth was conditional. That pain was proof you were failing. But now you see. Now you remember. Healing isn't about transcending your humanity. It's about embracing it. It's about standing in your own soul, exactly as you are, and saying, I am enough. I always have been. I always will be. No more chasing. No more proving. No more waiting for someone or something to save you. Because you are the one you've been waiting for. And you always have been. You were the light in the darkness. You were the voice that never gave up. You were the hands that kept reaching for healing. Even when everything felt broken. You are the miracle. And now, you get to live from that place. Not perfectly. Not without setbacks. But honestly. Freely. With open hands and an open heart. There will still be pain sometimes. There will still be moments of fear, doubt, grief. But now you know how to meet them. Not with resistance. Not with judgment. With presence. With compassion. With quiet power. Because now you know. You are not your wounds. You are not your past. You are not the stories you once believed. You are the awareness behind it all. The light that cannot be extinguished. And every time you choose to return to yourself, you rise. Every time you choose love over fear, you rise. Every time you choose truth over old stories, you rise. This is the real awakening. Not becoming something else. Not escaping your humanity, but returning, fully, finally, to the truth of who you already are. Whole, worthy, free. And in the next chapter, we'll bring everything together into a final reflection that will stay with you long after this moment ends. Because your journey isn't ending. It's only just beginning. If you've made it this far, it means something inside you has already shifted. Maybe it's just a whisper. Maybe it's a quiet stirring. Maybe it's a knowing you can't quite explain yet. But it's there. And it's real. You have walked through the darkness. You have faced the waves. You have laid down the old weapons of resistance. You have seen the ego for what it is, and chosen to rise beyond it. You have remembered something ancient and unshakable, that you are not here to live trapped by your wounds. You are here to transform. You are here to alchemize your pain into wisdom, your sorrow into depth, your scars into light. Not by becoming someone new, but by finally allowing yourself to be who you've always been. Whole, worthy, free. Every step you've taken, every tear, every breath, every moment of courage, has been a part of your return. Your return to yourself, to the you that exists beyond fear, beyond stories, beyond survival, the you who knows how to trust life again, the you who can hold sadness and still choose love, the you who can walk through fire and still believe in miracles. You are the miracle, and your journey is just beginning. There will be days when the old pain tries to call you back. There will be moments when you falter, when you forget. That's okay. Healing is not about never falling. It's about remembering that you can rise. Every time you fall, you will rise faster. Every time you forget, you will remember deeper. Because now you know the truth. You are not your suffering. You are not your fear. You are not your past. You are the love that remains. You are the light that endures. You are the force that transforms. And every time you choose to trust the journey, even when it's hard, even when it's messy, you are building a life rooted not in fear, but in freedom. So breathe. Right here. Right now. Feel the weight lift. Feel the light return. This is your time. This is your rebirth. Your story is not over. It's only just beginning. And from this moment forward, you are no longer running from yourself. You are walking yourself home. Home. To your strength. Home. To your wholeness. Home. To your true, luminous, unstoppable self. And the world is waiting for you.